Imagine this. You're 58 minutes away from the biggest moment of your life. The test that will wipe out years of debt, the key to the future you promised your kid. That was me. That was the certification exam that would finally change everything for me and my 8-year-old daughter, Lily. I was driving through the brutal, unforgiving Arizona desert. The sun was trying to cook the asphalt. Then, I saw her, a stranded white SUV on the side of Highway 17. I could have sped past. I should have sped past. My future was calling me. But when I saw the woman, elegant, dressed in expensive clothes, but with a look of pure terror on her face, I stopped. She was completely out of place, her high heels sinking into the gravel. I knew instantly this wasn't just a flat tire, this was an emergency. I pulled over, and the heat hit me like a wall. "You right, ma'am?" I asked. Her name was Claire Whitmore. I checked the engine. Blown gasket. Coolant leaking. It was bad. I told her straight, "This car isn't going anywhere for a while." She practically begged. "I have a meeting with the board in Phoenix. I can't miss it. Please." That desperation. I knew that feeling. I feel it every month when the rent is due. My future was waiting 58 minutes away, but right then, I made a choice that cost me everything. I grabbed my toolbox. I had no idea that helping the stranger would lead to the most unbelievable, life-changing moment of my entire life. I just didn't know yet how much I was about to lose. She looked at me, pleading, "Please. I don't know who else will stop out here." That was the final word. I grabbed my toolbox and got to work. Every turn of the wrench, every painful second in that blasting heat, felt like I was literally stealing time from my own life, from Lily's future. The sun was absolutely merciless. My shirt was soaked through. But I kept working. Why? Because I just couldn't leave her. My son, Lily, always tells me, "Dad, helping people is your superpower." I had to live up to that. This wasn't a quick fix. It was a massive job. But as I worked, I heard Claire on her phone. "Matthew, tell them I'll be late." "Yes, the deal can wait." "No, just trust me." That's when it hit me, she wasn't just wealthy, she was running something huge. Yet, here she was, putting her empire on hold because a stranger was saving her. I managed to improvise the fix, using everything I had. I turned the key. The engine sputtered, then roared to life. Claire gasped. "You did it!" she cried out. She was celebrating, but for me, that cheer was a hammer blow. I looked at my watch. It was the last thing I wanted to do. My heart sank. The exam had already started 30 minutes ago. My chance, my future, was gone. Just like that. I had fixed her problem, but I had just created a massive one for myself. I looked at my watch, and the time check was like a punch to the gut. My certification exam had started 30 minutes ago. It was over. No point in rushing. All those late nights studying after Lily was asleep, all that hope for a better job, it just evaporated into the desert heat. I leaned against my truck, and my chest was tight with disappointment. I hadn't sacrificed months of work for cash. I'd sacrificed it for a complete stranger. Claire saw the look on my face immediately. She looked at me, horrified. "You missed something important, didn't you?" I just sighed and told her the plain truth. My certification exam. Silence. She stared at me. "Because of me." I tried to force a smile, but it didn't reach my eyes. "It's fine. You needed help." She shook her head firmly. For the first time since I met her, she looked deeply emotional, not scared, but horrified. Something inside her shifted, like she finally understood the full, massive cost of what I had just given up. "Let me make this right," she whispered. But I shook my head. "Just get to Phoenix safely." I started picking up my tools, a routine way of trying to organize the chaos in my head. Claire watched me. I wasn't wealthy. My tools were old. My future looked bleak. But I had given her a piece of it. She stepped close, her voice solid now. "I will. But you need to trust me. I won't forget what you did today." She climbed into her big SUV, rolled down the window, and looked at me. It wasn't pity. It wasn't guilt. It was something far more powerful. She was already planning something big. "Evan Brooks," she said softly, "you changed my day. Let me change yours." Then she was gone. She drove off, leaving me alone on that scorching roadside. I was tired, disappointed, and that single promise just echoed in my mind. Was she serious? Or was it just the kind, empty talk of someone rich who felt a moment of guilt? I climbed back into my old truck and turned the key. The engine groaned. It was struggling because I'd had to use some of my own cooling line to fix her expensive car. I sighed. I was facing 3 more months of stretching paychecks thin. I kept telling myself, I made the right choice. I showed up for someone who needed me. That matters. I arrived home and tried to forget the exam. But the loss still hurt. Lily looked up from his drawing. "Dad, you look sad." He always knew. I just nodded, carrying the heavy weight of the lost time. But before I could reply, a strange, powerful thing happened. A deep, rhythmic vibration ripped through the walls. The dishes rattled. The rumbling grew louder, unmistakable. Lily screamed with excitement. "Dad, something's outside." I rushed to the porch. I expected a huge truck, but the sound wasn't that. It was loud, chaotic, and it meant that my ordinary, difficult life was about to stop completely. I looked up, and that's when I saw it, a sleek black helicopter descending right into my yard. The noise was deafening. The machine was massive. And I knew instantly, this was the moment Claire Whitmore's promise was about to be paid. Lily jumped from his chair and ran to the window. "Dad, something's outside." I rushed toward him, expecting a loud truck or just a plane. But when I stepped onto the porch, my breath absolutely stopped. A sleek, black helicopter, clearly expensive, definitely not from around here, was descending right into my yard, kicking up a storm of dust and gravel. The noise was deafening. No one in our quiet neighborhood had ever heard a sound like that. I stood frozen. The helicopter landed gently, and as the dust settled, the door slid open. Out stepped Claire Whitmore. She was totally different now, no longer scared and dusty, but perfectly composed, elegant, and flanked by 2 men in dark suits. I blinked at the surreal scene. She looked completely out of place in my modest yard, but she carried herself like she owned the world. Lily clung to my leg, staring up in amazement. Claire reached the porch. "Morning, Evan," she said. I could only stare. I was too stunned to speak. She looked directly at me. "I made a few calls last night. Your exam, the one you missed because of me, it has been officially rescheduled for you." My throat instantly tightened. "But they don't reschedule certification exams. You can't do that for one person." Claire smiled knowingly. She looked me straight in the eye and said, "They do when the Whitmore Foundation calls and explains the situation." I stared at her in complete disbelief. My legs felt weak. The Whitmore Foundation. I suddenly realized she wasn't just wealthy, she was power. She had used her extreme status to completely reverse the terrible consequence I had suffered because of my simple act of kindness. "Claire, you didn't have to," I whispered. She held up a hand. "I did. You gave up something important for me. Something you worked for." I couldn't sleep knowing that. The sincerity in her voice shattered the crushing weight of responsibility I'd been carrying for years. I finally felt that burden lift. But she wasn't done yet. An official stepped forward, handing her a folder. "And that's not all," Claire continued. "My foundation has a program for skilled workers looking for a future through education. Today, we're offering you a full scholarship, tuition, materials, absolutely everything." For a moment, the world just faded out. I felt the exhaustion of years of dreaming without resources, all disappear at once. I swallowed hard. I don't know what to say." Claire softened. "Say yes. You deserve this." But then, even with that unbelievable scholarship right in front of me, I looked down at Lily. My dreams were changing, but what about his? Claire saw the exact look in my eyes. She knew I was worrying about my son. She dropped to one knee to meet Lily at eye level, a simple gesture that instantly meant everything to me. Claire looked at Lily and spoke to him like he was an adult. "Your dad's been doing the work of 2 parents. That shouldn't stop you from having a big future. She smiled at him. So, the foundation is offering to cover his education needs, too. School support, supplies, enrichment programs. Lily's eyes were huge. He was staring at a world of possibility. He asked the most important question, really? Even science camp? Claire laughed softly. Especially science camp. That broke me. That little detail. Lily instantly threw his arms around my waist. The tears I'd been holding back for years, since Lily's mom left, since the struggle began, finally came. Claire looked at me. "Evan," she said softly, "you didn't just fix my engine. You reminded me what integrity looks like." I struggled to speak past the lump in my throat. I told her, "I didn't help you for a reward." She nodded. "I know. That's why you deserve one. 4 years, I just survived. I carried the weight. But in that moment, she didn't just give me money, she gave me respect. She saw me." My voice cracked. "Claire, you changed our lives." She stepped closer. "You changed mine first." Lily tugged on her dress, still amazed. "Miss Claire, does this mean my dad can go to school and still fix things?" Claire smiled down at him. "Yes, sweetheart. He can do both, and he'll do them even better now." I pulled Lily close and laughed through the tears. The future didn't feel heavy anymore. It felt limitless. Claire stepped back, letting Lily and me have our moment. Her official stood behind her, holding folders and documents, but she wasn't looking at them. She was watching the transformation happening right in front of her. She was watching the way my shoulders seemed lighter. I finally turned back to her, wiping my eyes openly. "I don't know how to repay you," I said. Claire shook her head. "You already did yesterday," she said, "when you chose kindness over convenience." I took a slow breath, trying to anchor myself in this new reality. "If there's ever anything you need, anything at all, I'll be there." Claire's smile softened. "I know you will." The helicopter blades began turning again. It was time for her to leave. She took one last look at Lily and me, standing there in the dusty sunlight, a picture of resilience and rebirth. "I'll see you soon," she said. "This is just the beginning." I watched as she walked back toward the helicopter. It lifted slowly, rising above our humble yard. I squinted up at it, my heart pounding with gratitude mixed with possibility. I knelt beside Lily. "Things are going to change, kiddo." Lily grinned. "Because of you." I shook my head. "Because of us." The future was finally ours to claim. We stood there in the warm morning sun, the dust settling around us. Our lives were completely transformed by a stranger who refused to stay a stranger. I felt the world shifting, no longer closing in on me, but opening up. Hope filled the space where fear used to sit. For the first time in years, I knew the future was finally ours to claim. But Claire's final words kept ringing in my ears. "This is just the beginning." You see, Claire Whitmore is a woman of her word, and she doesn't stop at just solving a problem. She doesn't just give you a second chance, she integrates you into her entire world. That scholarship was just the first step. That was the first layer of her promise. She wasn't just paying for my degree. I realized she was testing my loyalty, my skill, and my integrity one final time. She wanted me by her side. So, where exactly did that beginning truly lead? Did I actually go back to fixing cars after getting my certificate? Or did I start fixing much, much bigger things for the Whitmore Foundation? If you want to know the shocking second chapter, if you want to see the office where a single dad mechanic now sits, the place Claire Whitmore gave me to oversee operations, then you know exactly what to do. Hit that like button, subscribe right now, and tell me in the comments what you think Evan Brooks's new job is. I'll reveal the incredible next step in our next video. Don't miss it.